central portion of Colorado, near the Wyoming border, lies one of the most beautiful and scenic wilderness areas on the face of the earth. Set aside by the United States as the most outstanding section of this fabulous land is Rocky Mountain National Park.
One of my fondest memories as a kid growing up was our family trips to our cabin in Grand Lake, where every night my dad would drive us in and we would go look for elk inside Rocky Mountain National Park. It was the thing I looked forward to the most on those trips. Seeing those large herds of elk was just so fascinating to me as a kid, so I suppose it's not surprising that here I am now 30 years later, still after the same thing. And this year's rut was very challenging and very different, as you will see. So let's get right into it. It's the Elk Rut 2024. During the rut, a typical day for me includes 2 separate runs to the park. One will be in the morning about an hour before sunrise, and then again in the late afternoon about an hour before sunset. I arrived at Granby in mid-afternoon on the first day, so this first session was a night session in the park, and things got off to a little bit of a slow start. What makes the Grand Lake side of Rocky Mountain National Park such a hotspot during the elk rut is the Kawanichi Valley, which you can see here on the map, spans the entire lower section of the park before it starts climbing up Trail Ridge Road. And along this meadow, there's many pull-offs and trailheads where seeing elk out in the meadows is very, very common. But this night, as I passed hotspot after hotspot, they were sitting suspiciously empty. It wasn't until I got to the last pull-off possible where I finally saw a bull elk. It's definitely not unusual to see a bull elk all by itself, but what was unusual was every time he bugled, I wasn't hearing any other elk nearby bugling back. And after watching this guy for about 45 minutes, I decided to make my way back towards the entrance to see if I could find some other action. I saw a bunch of cars pulled off to the side, which usually means there's something, but it wasn't elk this time. I photographed these moose for about 30 minutes while we still had a little bit of light left in the day, and it was an awesome way to end my first night out for the rut. I woke up early again the next morning and headed back to the park for session number 2, but it was weird again. Just like the night before, I drove past empty meadow after empty meadow, even stopping on one point just listening for audible bugling, and it was dead silent. I did finally see some movement towards the north end of the park, but it didn't really yield much of what I was looking for. Not really content with my 5 seconds of elk footage from the morning, I ended up getting pretty desperate. If the elk weren't at the lower elevations of the park, maybe I needed to go up in elevation. So I decided to head up Trail Ridge Road, which at times can be a little treacherous. Not my favorite thing to do, but like I said, I was desperate. I drove past the Alpine Visitor Center and even dipped a little bit into the Estes Park side. Up in the tundra, there were still no elk to be found anywhere. I wasn't in full-on panic mode yet, but I did decide to give up for this morning's session. And fortunately, on the way home, I did find something worth photographing. Oh boy. Well, hello. Again, the idea of this video was not vlogging style, but here I am. I am in Rocky Mountain National Park, up here again, filming for the Elk Rut, and we've got a problem. There are no elk to be found. I was out last night, saw one bull, which was the little clip that I posted on my Instagram, if you follow that. And I thought, hey, not every night's going to be crazy. And I saw a bull. He was bugling, like the rut is on. And then I went back again this morning, hoping for some more activity, and there was nothing. That's the first time I've ever been up here and truly shut out. And I was driving around to all the spots this morning for just hours. I even went up to the above tree line, up into the tundra, because sometimes they'll stay up there. Nothing. I am now in. This is my third trip in tonight, and I saw 2 cows off in the distance for about 10 seconds. And that was it. There's nothing. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. I mean, I get it. It's wildlife. You just never know. But I mean, this is about as close to a sure bet as you can get. Rutting elk in Rocky Mountain National Park. So I guess the question is, where are they? And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And of course, this is very much affecting this whole video, because the whole idea is that I would be shooting elk in the morning, at night, bugling with big harem, like with big herds. And yeah, that's the content of the video. And I'm not getting any of that. So I don't know what to do. I suppose I can just keep coming. The last day and a half that I'm here. So I've got 3 more trips possibly to go in. And confidence is not very high right now. Yeah, I'm just so puzzled. I guess I'm confused about where they are. So anyways, that's what's going on up here in Rocky Mountain National Park. Yeah, it's wild. I just don't know what to think. So yeah, that's what I know for now. Hopefully it picks up by a lot over the next couple of days, or else yeah, we're gonna have to come up with a plan B, I think. So hopefully it won't come to that. After a night of contemplating what I should do here, I decided to stay the course, and I went back into the park the next morning, and all the way at the back, I found this lone bull again. I think the same one that I had seen the first night. And while this wasn't the greatest encounter I've ever had with rutting elk, it did provide some nice photographs and some good footage here. But more importantly, it actually started to restore my confidence a little bit that maybe the action was starting to pick up, and I was looking forward to returning later into the park for my last night session. Yeah, colors are changing. Yeah, it looks really pretty up here. Not peak yet, but not far off. Other than these cute little mule deer making a cameo appearance, the elk activity was back down to nil again, and what little confidence I had regained earlier that morning was now unfortunately gone again. Well, this is my last desperation attempt to try to see some elk on this trip. It is dusk time, it's prime time, it's the witching hour, and I should be hearing bugling just all up and down this valley, and I hear nothing. So I don't know, something's going on, but we'll see. Okay, well, that was a short walk because as I was heading out there, a couple of hunters were walking in towards me, and I just asked them, I'm like, oh yeah, so did you see anything out there? And they're like, nope, we haven't heard or seen anything all day. So, yeah, it's just not happening. So, anyways, well, I am going to call it an evening here, I think. There's a few more places I can stop on the way out of here to maybe just get that last second, just something in the bag, or just something on the card tonight. But yeah, this is the first time. I think what I'm having a hard time with is this is the first time I've been up here and have not really been successful, and it's just been just so off. Something just feels off. Like I just don't know how to put it, but yeah, it's pretty sucky. And then as I was just about to leave the park, look what I found here in the pitch dark. These clips are heavily edited in my editor just to try to show that there were actually some elk here. And of course, it was pitch dark. We go again. We're not giving up yet. Oh, it's gonna be a long day today. Well, good morning. Here I am. I'm supposed to be driving back to Denver right now, but yeah, I saw that herd here last night, it was of course after dark, shooting in the pitch dark, but it made me think, God, they're here. Like, maybe I just need to give it one more morning. So I am making the quickest drive through Rocky Mountain National Park that I can, looking for elk. And yeah, it's not going well again. Oh no. So I've got one last stop here down the line to just see if there's anything, and then I have to get back to town. So yeah. Man, what a bummer. This whole trip has just felt like it's been cursed. But this is my last stop here. We'll see what we got. I see some cars, so maybe there's something here. Well, there you go. The miracle in the 13th hour. So finally, a full herd of elk in this last stop I was going to make. So I just shot there for about an hour. The bull was awesome, giving great bugles. I think I made some really cool shots. He was rubbing his antlers on the ground, and then he would go to bugle, and there was all this grass hanging off his antlers. So I think I made some really good shots. And yeah, see, now that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm used to up here, is seeing that, you know, over 4 days, not just for one morning of 4 days. So, but a great way to end this trip. Yeah, now I've got to go pick up the dog from the cabin. I've got to get back to Denver because I've got to go to the Broncos game. But yeah, good stuff here this morning. So awesome. All right, well, you join me here for a special bonus segment of the Elk Rut video. I am out here on a Friday night, heading up to Evergreen, where there are elk up there. There's a big herd up in that little area, and I'm hoping to get some more footage, because as you just saw in my video, pretty slow this year up in Rocky Mountain National Park, or at least over on the Grand Lake side, pretty slow. So yeah, I'm gonna go up tonight to see if we can see some more elk up here. It's pretty cool. I mean, to think that I can drive literally about 35 minutes away and still be right back in the rut, which is awesome. So we'll see what we see tonight. Well, that was pretty awesome. To the right of me is Elk Meadow Park, and you'll never guess what was out in the middle of that meadow. Yes, some elk with a big bull bugling away, working the herd, and yeah, very, very happy that I came out tonight for a little bonus segment, because I think I made some really good photos, and I think the video clips are pretty good too. So yeah, definitely a success. and a good way to end this rut video. So thank you for watching. In Evergreen, I will see you guys later. Have a good one. All right, well, that is my Elk Rut video for 2024. I put in the description that it was one of the weirder ones that I have gone up and filmed, and yeah, it was pretty slow, and I don't think I've ever been in like full-on panic mode like I was while I was up there for a couple of days, and fortunately I got that really good last morning, which really sort of, I would say, saved the trip in the sense that it just been so slow up there. And I was so confused. I'm still actually somewhat confused about why it was so slow. And, it was funny. As I was going out there every night and every morning, there were other people, other photographers there, and we were all just kind of standing around going, well, where is everyone? Like, what's going on? And, I don't, like, I'm not like a scientist. I'm not like a animal behavioral scientist or anything like that. So I don't know. But of course, people were throwing out all sorts of, I wouldn't say conspiracy theories, but just theories. It's like, oh well, it's been a warm fall, so it just throws everything off. And I don't think the weather has anything to do with this. This is all based on testosterone and hormones and estrogen in the air. I don't think it matters if it's warm or cold. Like, the rut still happens. Like, it happens in September. It doesn't matter if it's 80 degrees or if it's 40 degrees. I just don't think the weather really impacts that much. And one of the other interesting things was, you talk to other photographers and they would say things like, oh well, I heard last night right here there were like 100 elk, and I was there the night before and there were 0 elk. And then I was like, oh really? Well, that's what I heard from somebody. And it was all these anecdotal like tales. And yeah, it was just truly bizarre. And I really struggled. I was getting really frustrated. And I just, every time I go up there to film the rut, like it's really easy. Because the elk are, like I said, it's a guarantee that they're going to be there, and to just have them not show up like one year was very frustrating, and it was gave me a lot of stress because I was like, man, how am I going to make this video? There's no elk, and I guess I can also address probably one of the just obvious questions to me. Is, well, why do you go to the Grand Lake side? Why don't you go to the Estes Park side, where Estes Park is famously known for elk? There's so many elk, they're literally just walking around the town. They're out on the golf course. Like, there's so many elk in Estes Park, so why not just go there? That's a valid question, and I have, I think, some valid answers to that. Actually, there's a bunch of reasons why I don't go to Estes Park for the rut. And first off is that it's just too crowded over there. It's a very touristy spot. I mean, all of Rocky Mountain National Park is very touristy, but that side is by far the most popular. And I can't really get the footage I need over there because there's just too many people. And when I'm out recording video, particularly, what I like is getting those elk bugling, nice, clean video. And over on the Estes Park side, there's so many people out for the rut that getting good, clean audio is impossible. Because the elk will be bugling, and all you hear in the background is 10 different people talking, and and certainly that's hard to get over on the Grand Lake side because there's tourists over there, but it's far less crowded, so I can get away from people and actually get the video that I need. So that's one of the main reasons. Another reason is I don't really particularly care for photographing elk in the middle of town, or out on a golf course or in some neighborhood, to me that doesn't make good photos, and it doesn't make good video, and it's just that whole scene just doesn't really interest me that much. And then of course I am, not. I'll be fully transparent to say, my parents have a cabin over on the Granby side, so I have a place to stay for free. So that's another reason why I always go over on that side. I love Estes Park. I think Estes Park is beautiful. It's wonderful, and it's great. Just not for me what I'm out to get. It just doesn't work for the Elk Rut for me. So that is why I don't go to Estes Park. I almost went to Estes Park because it was going so bad on the Grand Lake side that I kind of was like, you know what? I'm just going to pack up and I'm going to head home like a day early, and I will just go up over Trail Ridge Road, up over the really scary highway with no guardrails that makes me queasy. But then I'm just going to go on the Estes Park side because I just need to get something here for this video. And I ultimately decided against that and decided to kind of just stay the course over on the Grand Lake side. And that I think I'm pretty happy that last morning really, man, that was so great, because I was at the literally last stop on the road before I had to turn around and go back to Denver. And there was fortunately that bull out there with the herd. And I was like, oh, thank you. So that was awesome. And then, the Evergreen herd there at the end, a little bonus segment. I always like going up to the Evergreen area. Again, it's sort of like Estes Park in the sense that sometimes the elk are out in the cool park there where you can make some really good photos, and it's just awesome, like it was in the clips from the video. But then other times they'll be just like back in the neighborhood. So again, you're shooting photos of like someone's front yard, and that is not great to me. So fortunately that worked out, and that is a very interesting Elk Rut this year. Again, I don't know why the Grand Lake side was so slow this year. I feel like timing wise I was right there, and all the elk I did see, they were bugling, so they were rutting. I mean, the rut was on, so it wasn't like a timing issue. It's just, I just don't know. So one other thing I wanted to mention here before I end the video is for my Colorado photographers, this is the Colorado Outdoors magazine. They have open submissions right now until October 15th to submit your best photos to be in the issue, which I was in last year, which I couldn't believe. That was my Limkin photo. So I will be submitting a few photos, I think, this year that might be good enough to get in. But yeah, if you go to their website, they've got all of the rules. Again, I love that they're pretty strict on their rules. Like, it's good. I think it's a good way to submit photos, and I think their rules are really good that only like the best stuff gets in. So if you are interested in that, check it out. Now, I have got one more big outing for our fall migration birding video that will be coming next. And again, it'll be another big one. I am heading out very, very early Monday morning, so that's in a couple of days, to go to a really cool spot. So I'm looking forward to that. And the fall migration video will be the next video coming up. And it's probably going to be another long one just like this one. So until then, I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks, as always, for watching. See you later.